Are the Anaheim Ducks actually fun right now? What a win last night over the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'll talk about that on this special weekend edition of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
Your Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jason JD Hernandez, covering hockey for over a decade. Thanking you for making this your first podcast or first listen of the day. Okay, a reminder, this podcast is free and available across all platforms. Twitter's at StimpyJD. Show's Twitter's at LO_Ducks. There are 13 games left in the season. At least the last one was fun. Now, if you're a fan of good, fun hockey, you enjoyed the hell out of yesterday's game. If you're a fan of Team Tank, you went, why? Why did you... Okay. Yeah, I hear you, Team Tank. I get it. But think about it this way. Just think of how that game was won. The magnitude of having a game on your stick with under a few minutes left, like under 3 minutes left, it was just fun. And getting to see Lukas Dostal just stand on his head multiple times, you know what? This was fun. Despite the fact that it was two teams down in the cellar, and this one was literally the race for Bedard, because the loser of last night's game would be mathematically eliminated. So if the Ducks had lost in regulation, they would have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. But as it turns out, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they go down 7-4 last night at the Ponda, and therefore they are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. And given how far apart Columbus is from the rest of the teams, I think Columbus has it. I think last night was the game that kind of put it in the bag for Columbus for futility's sake. So they should have the best odds to land Connor Bedard. But it was still fun. It was still fun getting to see Max Jones. I mean, okay, I got to talk about that game-winning goal for a second, because Max Jones had the game on his stick with under 3 minutes left. This was Columbus in their own offensive zone, and the puck is moving towards the perimeter, moving around. Then on a pass going towards the inside, Max Jones uses his stick, picks off the pass, and he's just going off on a breakaway. He goes forehand, backhand, kind of does a little bit of a fake on the shell of Michael Hutchinson, and just kind of flips it in backhand, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. That was the game-winning goal. That was a sick, sick goal. I know Max Jones hasn't had quite the numbers that we'd like to see, but it's moments like that, it's just fun. And you could see him just go, woo, just celebrate, have the tongue out. Ah, that's right. Max Jones went full on Selly. He went full on tongue out. Ah, just like that. God, I love that Selly so much. Am I rooting for the Tank? A little bit. But I couldn't help but smile when I saw that Max Jones goal. Woo! That was a fun one. And that would be the game-winning goal. The Ducks would add a couple of just empty ones towards the end of the game with under a minute left. They added a couple. Scott Harrington scored. Ryan Strome scored. But, man, that Max Jones goal showed what it means to have fun. Yeah, the Ducks are practically out of it. They're not mathematically out yet, but they're practically out of it at this point. Look, Winnipeg is going to continue winning games. They're going to eliminate the Ducks. The Ducks are not going to win 14 games in a row to finish the season. It's just not going to happen. But just that glimpse of what could be for next season, it is still fun. And it does still bring a smile to my face whenever I see moments like that. The Ducks could have easily folded in this game when they were down early on. They could have easily folded. Actually, no, I take back. They were never down in this game when it looked like they were going to go down, and it was tied. I thought Columbus would pull through late and maybe win it 5-4 in overtime. That's what I was thinking. But it was just all fun. And also, did Columbus maybe tank better than the Ducks? Because there was a couple of gimmies for Anaheim on this one. Let me take you back to the very start. The first period. Trevor Zegras had maybe the easiest goal in his career. Hutchinson was so far out of position it was ridiculous. And, McGinn got it to Ryan Strome. And then Ryan, looking to his right, he sees a really wide open Trevor Zegras. There was no one within a few feet of him. Trevor Zegras is a dangerous goal scorer. He is the leading scorer for the Ducks. How do you leave the best scorer on the Ducks that wide open? I don't think it was on purpose, but if there's one team that's tanking better than the Ducks, it's definitely the Columbus Blue Jackets. My God, that was wide open. I'm not accusing anyone of tanking. I'm not. But maybe the effort could have been there for Columbus. Just a little bit of effort to prevent that Trevor Zegras, easy goal. But, c'est la vie. That was a thing of beauty. So now here we are. It's fun hockey. You gotta love it. You gotta love Lukáš Dostal pretending like it was just a game to end all games. And I think that's Dostal's attitude right now, is it doesn't matter if they're out of it. He's going to continue playing hard. Oh, and by the way, the number of shots Dostal saw was a lot. The Ducks managed to put up 36 shots on Michael Hutchinson. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they put up 42 shots on Lukáš Dostal. Dostal with a 38 save. I'm not going to say it was a masterpiece, but it was good. I thought he was more than adequate. I'm going to put it that way. He was more than adequate in this game. A couple of saves that he had were kind of game savers at the time. Until that Max Jones goal, it was never greater than a 1-goal lead for the Anaheim Ducks. And even when it was tied, you felt that Columbus could possibly do something in there, considering that, I don't know, the Ducks allowing all these shots. Again, they even allowed 42 shots to the worst team in the National Hockey League. Well, that's never good to do that. You never want to have that many shots against you, especially if it's the worst team in the league. But Dostal was fine. Dostal was better than fine. The expected goals for this game, 3.12 for the Ducks and 3.99 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So Columbus was expected to score 4 goals in this game. If not for that .99, Dostal would have an even rating, but because of that, he has a negative 0.01 rating. Oh gosh darn it. If the Ducks would have allowed one more shot on goal, then yeah, it would have been even. But Dostal was still good. Don't let that kid you. Dostal was good on this game. The advanced analytics say he was on par. No. This is one case where I'm not going to listen to the analytics on this game. I think Dostal was masterful. No. I'm going to be careful. Not masterful, but he was great. Deserved better than a negative rating on this game, but whatever. Final score, 7-4. The Ducks have a lot of grounds to make up if they're going to have a good shot at landing Connor Bedard. And I'll talk more about the game itself and the standings and all that jazz after this intermission. Stay locked in. But I want to talk to you first about FanDuel. That's right. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. And you know what? March Madness is here, and it has been truly, truly mad. College basketball has been just BS crazy, especially if you're a fan of upsets. We've got a number 1 seed that already went down in the first round. By the way, congrats to Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue on that one. Who saw that coming? Then you have a couple of number 2s already going down. Again, who saw that coming? So if you want to check out the latest lines, then head over to fanduel.com using your mobile device, or, you ready for this? You could also check out the website. The website for y'all is fanduel.com. Sorry, in Spanish, that's fanduel.com/ and I want to get this right, I think it's /locked on. So once again, fanduel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, and please gamble responsibly. Welcome back to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Once again, you're locked in with Jason JD Hernandez. Let's talk about last night's game against the Blue Jackets. This was a fun one. It was a real back and forth battle all night long. You had that Trevor Zegras slam dunk in the first. Then you had Nick Blankenberg erase the blank for Lukas Dostal early on. Then Scott Harrington, he got into the act. The former San Jose Shark scored. And then Boone Jenner tied things up late in the first period. So already it's kind of a back and forth. Both teams showing that, hey, we're not going to tank all that much and we're going to make it fun and high octane. Because Columbus did outshoot the Ducks 15-13. A lot of shots. It was kind of fun. Yeah, this one was fun. A little bit of back and forth. Defense, kind of optional on this one, but it was still fun to watch. And then the second period happened, and that's where I began to kind of scratch my head a little bit. Max Comtois did score his 8th of the season, but that PK for the Ducks late in the second, oh boy, that just sent me up a wall at that point. Ryan Strome committed a penalty, and that second PK unit did enough to keep them out of the net for the first few seconds. Cole Sillinger managed to find a hole, and you know what? I mean, I've been saying all season that the PK has not been up to par, and it continues. Whatever scheme they have been trying to use all season long has not been working. They don't have the precise diamond that the Dallas Stars have. I still think the Dallas Stars, for my money, I look at the Dallas Stars as being one of the better teams as far as penalty killing this season. I've liked their game all throughout. Who else have I liked? Oh, Winnipeg. Winnipeg's PK has also been almost masterful this season. They don't use the diamond as effectively as Dallas does, but I still put Dallas as a top tier team as far as PK, and they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. The Ducks, they don't really use that. Maybe they use like a box for a few seconds, but that's it. After that, it is just a straight line, or it is, 3 guys on one side, 1 guy in the middle, and then someone's typically left wide open on the other side of the puck. That's not an effective PK. When you do that constantly, I don't want to say typically, but when you more often than not have a player on the power play on the other side of the puck left wide open, the chance for success diminishes greatly. And this is something that the Ducks have been caught on all season long, And they've even been left flat-footed a couple times. We saw it in last night's game. They were caught flat-footed, and it could have been more goals. It really could have been more goals for Columbus, which is why I debate the expected goals of 3.99 for Columbus. I think it could have been more. So, yeah, that one tied it up at 3 goals apiece. Then, my guy, Troy Vetchkin, scored his 20th goal of the season. I thought he would have more goals by now, but he's been hurt. And then the PK reared its ugly head again. Right after Troy Terry scored to give the Ducks a 4-3 lead, he got caught hooking. Like, come on, Troy. Like, you do all this great work. That's your second point of the night. And then he just commits that penalty that he probably did not need to commit. I'm like, come on. Come on, man. And then Patrick Laine scored on the power play. Of freaking course. So that's already 2 power play goals against the Ducks. Oh well. But then Max Jones to the rescue on the empty netter. Or not the empty netter, the breakaway. Scott Harrington got the empty netter. By the way, that was his second goal of the game. And Ryan Strome finished it off about 14-15 seconds after that. 7-4 was your final score. And while I did nitpick the PK a little bit, I will again praise Dostal for having a great game. And this was a team effort all around. McTavish had a nice apple on that Troy Terry goal. That was really good to see. Stromer had a goal and an assist. I thought he was great. And even Brock McGinn, like early on, I thought he looked good. And I'll give props to Scott Harrington. I liked him when he was with the San Jose Barracuda. I thought he was always a pest and always had a good active stick. So to see him get rewarded with 2 goals in 1 game, that was fun. I went, wow. All right. Awesome. So top performers as far as hockey stats cards are concerned. Troy Terry, the top performer. Game score of 2.85. That's a pretty good game score. Max Jones, a 2.42. And Scott Harrington, 2.36. It's not a bad pickup for the Ducks. It really isn't. And now we look ahead. The Ducks' next game is Sunday afternoon, late afternoon, against the Vancouver Canucks. That's a 5 o'clock start. I hope to be home to catch the end of that game, but I'll be listening mostly on the radio, so I get to hear, my guys, Steve and Dan. Love those guys. That'll be tomorrow, once again, 5 o'clock at the Ponda. Then after that, Tuesday against the Calgary Flames. Don't know if I'll be there yet. It's supposed to rain that night. We'll see. Then they play the Winnipeg Jets on Thursday, and then the St. Louis Blues next Saturday. I'm expecting a couple losses there. More than a couple. But we'll see how that goes. All right. I guess one final thing I should point out. I did mention that Columbus is now mathematically out of it. They only have 49 points. The next lowest team, the San Jose Sharks at 52, the Chicago Blackhawks at 54, and then the Anaheim Ducks at 56 points. So the Ducks are 7 points clear of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't even know if Columbus has 3 more wins in... I don't think they have 4 more wins in them this season. I don't even know if they have 3 left in them this season. So I would say Columbus looking pretty good in that bottom spot right now. The Ducks, San Jose could catch them. Chicago could catch them. But the Ducks might want to begin thinking about the tank. Especially when they get mathematically eliminated. Then it's time to really think about it a smidge. Oh, one other thing, actually 2 other things I should point out. Number 1, I mentioned the PK has been bad this season. As of right now, The Ducks have the 29th PK in the league. Well, they're technically tied, but not really, by less than a percentage, or less than a tenth. The Montreal Canadiens are right under the Ducks. The Buffalo Sabres, 71.9. So those three teams kind of bunched together. Then all the way in the bottom, the Vancouver Canucks, 68.2%. That would be an NHL record if that holds around that pace. And Vancouver's a mess. Yeah, that game will be interesting on Sunday. You have two of the teams with the worst penalty kills in the league. If you want to see good hockey, if you want to see fun hockey and want to see the Ducks win, then they've got to draw a lot of penalties and just get those power play chances. Because I guarantee you, if the Ducks get at least 3 chances, they're going to score on one of them. Then again, the same could be said for the Vancouver Canucks, because the Ducks are right down there as well. As far as who's starting, look, I wouldn't mind if Dostal gets a few more starts. I understand John Gibson wants to start a lot of games. I get it. But Dostal's been fine. Give Gibby some rest and let Dostal go to work. There's 13 games left. Maybe go half and half. Give Gibby 7 games. Give Dostal 6 games. Bada boom, bada bing. You're done for the season. I mean, Dostal will definitely be done because the goals, they're likely not going to make the playoffs either. So that'll be it. I mean, come April 14th, that's going to be it as far as covering games for me. As far as this franchise, as far as Ducks goals. Yeah, kind of a lost season. But at least we can have some fun games, right? I mean, the Ducks, they look fun right now. They just had a good win against the Blue Jackets. They were tough against the Preds the other night. They beat the Flames a week ago. For what it's worth, it is fun. And even the goals right now, they've won 4 in a row. They're fun to watch right now too. So maybe give the young goalies a chance. Gage Alexander, you're up to bat. You're on deck. Lukáš Dostal, keep going, buddy. Keep going. Keep the bakery closed. All right, I'm going to end it right there. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget this podcast is free and available across all platforms, including Stitcher, Spotify, Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. My personal Twitter's at StimpyJD. The show's Twitter's at LO_Ducks. The email address is lockedonanaheimducks@gmail.com. Next week's going to be a full week of hockey. So buckle up, guys. And once again, thank you all for your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. For Locked On Anaheim Ducks, I'm Jason JD Hernandez saying have a great rest of the weekend. Please remember to be safe out there, be kind to one another, and Ducks, fly together.